back in. All right, hey guys, I don't know what's going on. I talked for like 20 minutes and then I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I thought I set up the events correctly, but I did them through the new Facebook business suite thing and I don't think it's set up correctly. I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. All right, let's start this over. I'm just going to start all over from the beginning. So, to begin with, hi! Today is Stitch Along Day, and if you haven't been here, we're stitching the Super Duper Happy Star Map from Kriki Press. Last week, I talked about hoop setup and, hoop setup and like beeswax on your threads and how tight to keep your fabric and what else did I talk about? Making sure that you always release your hoop when you're done stitching for the day or for the time. What else did I talk about? I don't know. Talked about a bunch of stuff. So if you missed that, make sure you go check that out on YouTube or watch the old one on Facebook for our Kriki Press happiness because I did talk about just some really basic embroidery setup stuff there. Today, though, I want to talk about what I've stitched so far, what I am planning to stitch, like where I've headed, and I might have I got one of the unicorns. I really liked the unicorn needle minders, and so I decided one was going to be mine. So there's still 3 left, though, so if you need a unicorn, yeah, they're available. Anyway, I also commandeered one of the bunny micro needle threaders because I had to have it. It was bunnies, and it was micro threader. It was very handy for getting my threads through because I have a very, very small needle this time. Because most of the time we're only working in single thread. Some of it is in double strands, but you know, 1 or 2 strands of thread, not very much. And I was trying to keep my holes a little smaller, so I did choose a little smaller needle as well. I think I also talked about needle sizing last week. But anyway, if you recall, we have our lovely color Star Map Stitch Guide. I know that's backwards for you, but it says Star Map Stitch Guide. Really, really nice chart. And I went ahead and put a little sticky note on the page that I'm working on so that I can flip to it a little bit easier. So I actually made it through 3 of my motifs. I did the crown, super easy. It's just little straight stitches. And then I've gone down here into Libra with the scales. And I'll show you this in a minute, but I did all of my straight stitching first, and then I've started stitching my chain stitching up here in the top. So anyway, what else do I need to remind you about? This month is September, of course. It's still Year of Self-Care, so if you have been playing along with our Year of Self-Care, then you might want to go ahead and snap some pics of the things that you're working on, and remember to tag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium or BSFE to be entered in the monthly contest. It's a monthly contest. Hang on, it's a little too high there. It is a monthly contest, so every month I pick a winner, and you can enter more than once, so you can enter 10 times or 20 times or 100 times. I really don't care. And just tag us, Black Sheep Fiber Emporium or BSFE, so that you can find us. And again, I don't know what happened. Like I did the whole like 20-minute thing earlier, but I went live somewhere else, I think. So I'm gonna have to find that video later. Anyway, that's okay. I screwed up there, so this will be easier. I'm gonna flip the camera down and show you what I have been working on, and we'll talk about fronts and backs and tidiness. And anyway, I'm gonna flip the camera around. So just hang on a minute because I have to turn this, and then there we go. All right. Let's see, I don't think I can get this any closer. Can I? Yes, I can. Okay, good. Sorry about the jiggles, people. All right, here we are. Here's what we're working on. So I went ahead and I stitched Virgo and Canis first, and I can take this off the hoop. So to safely remove this from the hoop, I'm just gonna make sure that my thread is out of the way and my needle minder's a little bit closer to the center here. And then I want to lift my top hoop off, pop my bottom hoop loose. So here's what I finished. I went ahead and I just did Virgo and what's this? Canis Fanatica? I don't know, whatever that says. I did the dogs, and I did my happy little angel with her sheaves of wheat, something like that. And then I went ahead and I came down here and I worked my crown because that was little straight stitches. And you can see I'm not like the world's best stitcher, so don't feel like you have to be a fabulous stitcher in order to do this. Not necessary. I did make sure that my hoop is wrapped, so I have a wrapped hoop. And when I moved my hoop, because clearly I did this section first, I just made sure that the motifs that I wanted to work would be somewhat centered. I can actually move this up just a little bit because after I work my scales, I want to come down here and work Scorpio in my star map. So I'm just going to take my fabric. Actually, I think I want to do this. I'll put it up here. Put my upper hoop on top of my lower loop with the fabric sandwiched nicely in between. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a pull, not a lot, because I haven't started tightening yet. And now I'm going to tighten this down a lot. So this is the piece we're going to tighten, 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 tighten. And then pull these down. And yes, Tamara, if you want to do just the stars as a beginner, you can. But what I noticed was, if you look at, let me see if I can grab, here's a good example. So if you look at her big color map, she's done all the chain stitching here on Draco, and then on top of that, she stitched the stars. So if you have any desire to stitch the motifs, then you may want to relegate yourself to stars that are not on the motifs, because again, like over here with the dogs, this one's kind of over the top of your chain stitching. So because she's chosen to pull those stars over the top of the chain stitching, which I like, I decided that I was going to go ahead and stitch the motifs first. And I actually like to keep my needle minder kind of closer to one edge, just so that it's sort of out of my way. But sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Once I make sure that my hoop is all tightened down, so we took the bottom hoop, laid the fabric over the top, took the top hoop, and then give it just a little tug because we want it tight. It's maybe just a smidgen too tight. No, it's all right. So you want it tight but not too tight, and you definitely don't want it loose because we don't want to pucker our fabric while we're stitching. So that is a key concern. Now I am trying to keep my back as tidy as I can. I have not done the best job. Oh, that's a little cat hair. Well, that's normal. I have not done the best job at keeping it tidy on the back. I definitely could be tidier. But I am trying, and that's really kind of all that counts, because I am not the world's best stitcher, and that's okay, because we're all on our own little journey here with our stitching, and every stitch makes me a little more experienced. That's how I think of this. So anyway, let's see, where was I? I wanted to talk about this. So I am at the top of my scales over here, and I'm doing my chain stitching. And when you do chain stitching, at least to get started, you come up at A and you go down at B, and then we come up at C, and then we're going to go back in at B. And you want to make sure that your stitches are approximately the same length, if possible. So when I go back in here, I like to kind of take my working thread and lay it over, and I actually have like the middle finger of my left hand underneath my hoop to sort of push my needle up against the fabric so that I can very gently try to push my needle through and assess and try to make the fabric space on each side of my stitch point the same, so that I get stitches in my fabric that are the same length. And I can see that my fabric is not quite taut enough, so I need to do a little adjustment. And you may find as you go through and you do your stitching that you do have to tighten your fabric and your hoop just a little bit, and that's okay as well. It's okay to do that. And Tamara, with the stars, like some of them all of these stars are kind of just out here hanging around. You could do all of the stars that are not on top of the motifs first. Do the motifs and then finish off all the stars on the motifs. So that's a possibility. And look here, see this one right here on the scale? That's a little star right there. So that one's going to go over the, what is that? The chain of the scale on that Virgo. Anyway. All right, so back to chain stitching. Try to go in, not chain stitching, back stitching. Why did I say chain stitching? I don't know, got that on my brain. Back stitch, back stitch, back stitch. And here I could have been a little more even because I'm trying to take this down and around, and I'm trying to, so now I've gone too far this way. All right. At this point, I am going to back out. Do I recommend it? No. Is it a good idea? Probably not. It's really hard to go back through the exact same hole in your stitching, but if you're lucky, sometimes you can. I think I got lucky because my back stitching needs to follow the curve here, and it's not really following the curve. So see, your stitches don't have to be fabulous because look, mine aren't fabulous, and I'm still doing it anyway. All right. Now, since I'm following a curve now, like I should have been doing and paying attention, when I go in on this side of my back stitch and I come out on the opposite side, let me turn this a little bit more, and I come out on the opposite side, I need to make sure that I am still on the line of my pattern, and that again, I'm approximately the same. Oh, that's another bad thing. You do have to be careful when you put your, screw on your hoop up here that you don't hook it with your working thread. Anyway, pull this through here. You do have to be a little bit careful on your curves to make sure that you continue to follow the curve of your work. And I'm going to look out a little bit because I have already done some of what I consider the back stitching of this piece on the center one. There. So this one is not fabulous, this third one. The first two aren't terrible, but the third one's got some bubbles and some problems. But you know what? It's stitched. It doesn't look that bad. And now what I'm going to do is stitch along the top of this. So I'm going to bring my needle over here. I'm going to stitch down this curl, then I'll come back up here, and that's going to put me in position to start bringing my stitching down to do the rest of this motif. And then that is going to position me to go into the scorpion when I am done with the baskets. So anyway, I'll probably do this basket, then I'll come over and do this basket, and then start working down on my scorpion. Yeah. So when you are working on your embroidery, you do have to consider sort of the, what's the word I want? The progression of your stitches and where you're headed, and you need to think about that as you're going so that you can minimize the areas on the back of your work where you have these strings that move from one motif to the next. Now, this one was deliberate. I actually tied in to, I think this is the dogs. You can't see them under here, but I tied into this to bring it down to work the crown so that I didn't have a random knot hanging out like I had to do. Now that away knot that I used that away knot up here, and I already trimmed that out and then secured it up in here on my motif. So I no longer have that away knot that is muddying the surface of my fabric. So anyway, as you begin stitching, that is something you need to think about, is where you go from motif to motif, and you can choose whatever motif you want. Her Star Map Stitch Guide, she starts with Taurus and Aries, I think is the ram. Yes. So she starts with Taurus and Aries here on her first page, but that isn't necessarily where you would have to start. So that would be up in this section. You could start up here. Absolutely. Wherever you want to start, it's totally fine with me. I just picked a section and started there, and I'm just going to work my way around. And as I work, I'm probably going to kind of go down for a little bit and then come back up and then go down the other side so that as I work, let me raise this just a bit. There we go. So that as I work, I come down around the outside, I go through the middle, and I go around the outside again. But anyway, I really like how it's starting to look. I feel like my stitches are getting better the more that I work this. And it's all about practice. And I did choose the intermediate because I did want more practice with my back stitching. These are detached chain stitches, detached chain stitches up here, some stem stitching. So I'm working some, you know, stitches. I'm getting better. I'm remembering which ways stem stitches go better for me because sometimes I do a better job than others. So anyway, just something to consider. Oh, and I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but like I said, if you want this cute little unicorn needle minder, we do have more of these. I kind of commandeered one because it was super cute. And we also have these. Again, this is a really nice little book if you just need like a little quick reference on how to do something. But it has nice little diagrams that are really easy to follow, and it's small. I mean, it's like the size of my hand, so I can just tuck this right inside my little bag and off I go. And look, I have so much stuff in my bag now. There's so much stuff. I've got like 2 other little stitchy things, and I started working on this extra little sampler thing with the bees, and I just like, I got so much stuff in here now. Ooh, and the cute little bunny micro threader. I love this little thing. Totally worth it, by the way. Definitely makes threading easier. But I have to say, I've been using it and pulling like 1 strand at a time through my needles. So when I have to work 2, I just pull each one through separately and then I line them up. Anyway, a touch of beeswax is also really nice for your threads to help smooth them down before you start working with them. Ina thinks it's really fun to put the beeswax on my threads, so I got kind of lucky with that. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? I don't know. The stitch along. Let me flip this back up. All right, so the stitch along is probably going to be Mondays, kind of for the foreseeable future. However, next Monday, I'm going to be traveling back, and it's during Spin Together. So next Monday, not doing the stitch along. I will try to do it on Tuesday instead, just for a little bit. Let me fix this. There we go. It was a little too high. Abby, I'm still in the house. Sorry, the dog. Anyway, so when you look for videos, and I thought I put the events up, but it totally didn't work. Did not work today at all. I'm going to get the events back up, and I'm going to fix this for Wednesday. Wednesday, we are going to be talking about Spin Together again. We're going to be talking about fluffing fiber and, you know, best practices and prepping for Spin Together. And then next Monday, again, I'm traveling. And then next Wednesday, we're going to be doing more Spin Together because it is Spin Together. Spin Together starts on Saturday. You have until Thursday night to join a team if you haven't joined one yet. Black Sheep Voyagers still has tons of space, and the cat has now joined me. Abby, that's enough. Great. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. Anyway, so join me for Spin Together. Be super fun. We're going to be doing kind of the stitch along and Spin Together at least for the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to get back to doing some knitting and some tatting and some Mediterranean knotted lace. And I'm super excited because I finally finished my beginner's Mediterranean knotted lace kind of booklet for the class I'm teaching at Ozark Fiber Fling in November. So if you're going to be in Missouri and you're looking for a fiber festival, the first weekend in November, Steelville, Missouri, I'm going to be there. You can find out more information. It's linked off the front page of our website at blacksheepfiberemporium.com. And don't forget that if you need something, we have some super fun new books in stock. We have new Japanese threads. We have sashiko kits. I can't even tell you all the fun things that are like coming in that we've ordered, and some of you have pre-ordered. I'm trying to get those out to you as quick as I can. I'm waiting on a shipment from Japan. I'm hoping to do online classes again starting in November. I just got really busy over the summer, but we're going to try to do online classes again starting in November for Mediterranean knotted lace and for tatting and for knitting, at least with me. And then yeah, there's just all kinds of fun stuff going on. So I know that was kind of crazy, wasn't it? Yeah. So sorry that it was so weird, and I don't know what happened to my first video, and I just talked to myself for like 20 minutes, but it's fine. It's totally fine. At least you guys are here now, and I'm so glad to see you. Yeah, so I'll do a better job. I'll get those events back up, and we'll do our videos. Everything will be fine. Totally fine. Anyway, so until Wednesday, please take care of yourself. Remember to post to Year of Self-Care. Remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, let's see, Instagram, TikTok. I've been really bad about TikTok, but I need to get back on TikTok. We're trying to keep up with all the social media. It's just really hard to keep up with all the social media, but I'm trying. Anyway, and go shop Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. Tell all your friends to shop Black Sheep Fiber Emporium for all of their spinning, weaving, tatting, crocheting, knitting, embroidery, fun, crafty, needle crafty kind of things. At least as many as we can manage. We're trying. We like to have a little touch of everything for everybody. Tina has even been like really into needle felting. So we should do some more needle felting. She did a super cool pumpkin last year, which I think is on the YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. Anyway, until Wednesday, take care of yourself and keep stitching along on your star maps. Bye.